Oh, for fuck's sake. Hang on. Ooh. Right. Yeah. Start some. The frickin'. She's went live. Brilliant. Oh, sweet. What the? Right. fuck is going on? Oh my god, I never actually noticed just there. Tom's first. Where the fuck is my chat box? Yeah, I thought it was there. Rejoice, Tom Isaacs is first. Hi, Tom. Yo! Rejoice, comrades. Jim speak. And Michael Askew. Hello, Michael. Ah, there we go. How do I create a link to the channel? Copy. What the hell am I? Ah! God. There we go. Oh, what the frickin'. Ah. I don't know why they're not coming up. That's weird. Okay, right, let's get into it. Hello, everyone. I promised I'd return. A couple of days late, though. Please excuse the tardiness. Joints misbehaving. If anyone wants any explanation, just feel free to ask me. Oh, you're finally shown up in the actual chat box. Thank Christ for that. I don't know why it wasn't to begin with. Odd. Okay. Here we go. I'll need to see if I can find some video footage to show you and I can describe where the places are and things of that nature. Oh, I have no idea why they're dropping so much. These frame drops are 100% and they're happening every 2 fucking minutes. Woman charged with hate crime after protest at asylum hotel. That is a lot of polls. A 32-year-old woman has been charged with a hate crime following a protest outside a hotel in Greenock that has been used to house asylum seekers. Another 2 men were arrested near the Holiday Inn Express on Wednesday evening and issued with fixed penalty notices for antisocial behaviour offences. As was. It came 24 hours after disorder and a series of racist assaults in Glasgow, following a knife attack in Belfast on Monday. The woman who was arrested in Greenock is expected to appear at the Town Sheriff Court tomorrow. Fantastic. Police Scotland said 2 police vehicles were damaged as items were thrown at officers during the incidents. Chief Superintendent Rona Fraser said, "Our priority is public safety, and we had an appropriate policing plan in place for last night's demonstrations." We understand the concerns people have about their communities and will always balance the right to freedom of expression with the need to tackle crime without fear or favour. Hello, Tom. Without fear or favour. Citation needed. Officers were attacked and police vehicles were damaged. I strongly condemn that violence and there is no place for it in Scotland. Officers continue to be in local areas and engaged with communities to show support and listen to concerns. Fucking hell. Right, that is St Enoch Centre. So this is down at the bottom end of the city centre, about 4 miles behind me in that hill. Right, fine. Well, there we go. Police Scotland previously said 5 people were injured, including 2 officers, after hundreds of people wearing masks marched through Glasgow city centre on Tuesday evening. Assistant Chief Constable, second in command essentially, Alan Waddell, said people were attacked because of the colour of their skin. Officers also attended a number of smaller but peaceful demonstrations on Tuesday in Edinburgh, Falkirk, Perth, Ayr and Paisley, and no arrests were made. It came as violence broke out in Belfast after Hadi al-Odeid from Sudan was charged with the attempted murder of Stephen Ogilvie in the city. The Home Office said the alleged attacker entered the UK in 2023 and was given refugee status. Rejoice, comrades. Scribby. Good evening, Scribby. A court in Belfast heard that the victim had lost his left eye, has damage to his right eye and injuries to his neck and back. Al-Odeid was remanded in custody. Alex. Yay! Rejoice, comrades. Miss Hire. Hello, darling. Oh, what? Police Scotland officer sent to Belfast. Well, things happened here in Glasgow. So this is essentially from BBC, but it's about what happened here and what kicked it off, which was what happened in Belfast on Monday. If anyone can find the footage, I can show you it. I'll see if I can find stuff that happened here in Glasgow. Belfast saw more unrest on Wednesday night, so yesterday, with a water cannon used to disperse a large crowd at Sandy Knowes roundabout in Glengormley, about 8 miles northwest of the city centre. In the second night of rioting across Northern Ireland, 12 police officers were injured and 16 people were arrested. Christ's sake. However, it was not on the same scale as Tuesday's disorder. The family of the victim said they did not want this terrible tragedy to be used to divide people or fuel hostility. Too late. Fucking hell. Or that way, as you're looking at it. Yeah. Police Scotland is expected to send about 90 officers to Northern Ireland as part of a mutual aid agreement with the PSNI. Easier. The Scottish Police Federation, which represents rank and file, says the total will include 5 inspectors. Fucking hell. Oh God. The Northern Ireland Secretary, Hilary Benn. Water cannon legal in Northern Ireland. Not legal here in the rest of the UK. Boris still bought one, but legally not allowed to use them on our streets. Get wrecked, Boris, you fucking bastard. Not allowed to use them here. Northern Ireland Secretary Hilary Benn confirmed 200 extra officers from across the UK will be on the ground to help restore order and protect ethnic minorities who are being targeted. Police Scotland would not confirm numbers, but say an agreement was reached following careful consideration to ensure that there is no impact to policing in Scotland. At First Minister's questions, John Swinney accused Reform politicians of inciting racial division in Scotland. Yeah. Oh, hello, Elron. Rejoice, comrades. Elron Hubbard. I don't think it's physically possible to do a concealed carry for a water cannon. He cited comments from Reform UK Scotland's deputy leader Thomas Kerr and former councillor in Glasgow. Who on Wednesday called for people to go out and protest peacefully against uncontrolled illegal migration. Shut up, you dickhead. Kerr added, I utterly condemn any forms of racism or violence. Speak to your party leader. Not the one you sit next to, the one that actually dictates the narrative down in the House of Commons whenever he's fucking there. He accused the First Minister of trying to start a political bun fight. No one's going to get that fucking reference, you wanker. Adding, mass migration is pushing Scotland to breaking point. Oh, get to fuck. It's 46 years of neoliberalism, you Tory fucking cunt. It is right that we are raising those. Okay. Oh, God. Thomas Kerr is a dickhead. I really hope either the SNP or the Scottish Greens capture his former council ward, which is Shettleston, which is in the east. So, in that direction, away from me. Right. Would you look at that? Oh! Rejoice. Yeah. It sucks, doesn't it, darling? Manfrog, can you hear me? Just. I'm not going to say that. That might be TOS. I would just want him to just chop. Just. No. Oh, I will cover that one momentarily. video? No. I was hoping there might be a video. No, alright. Fucking hell, police closed down part of Glasgow city centre on Tuesday evening. Right, that is down at the bottom. Oh. Oh. Rejoice, comrades. Reza Lindsay in chat. Let me try and restore your faith, Reza. How you doing anyway? Hang on, something's not sitting right here. Oh god. Right. There we go. Much better. Right. So this is the main shopping centre at the bottom end of the city. The St Enoch Centre. I bet the pubs and restaurants and 3 of the major 4 nightclubs are all within stone chucking distance or walking distance of this area. You don't want to go faster, so yeah, I can't stop it. The road is just in constant fucking yeah. Hello. That's mental. So this is the main shopping street down here. This is Argyle Street. So when they closed it down, it was the shops were nearly closing essentially. And just down here, that's the entrance to St Enoch subway station. There is a Tesco there, just right here, just down a bit. They must have fucking been raging because they don't close until 10 o'clock. So I bet Tesco were pissed off. Oh, fucking hell. You and other Brummie comrade, please be safe. Park horse language. Welcome, welcome. Rejoice, comrades. Park horse language in the chat. These frame drops are going to do my fucking head in. Right, shall we? 3 arrested over Glasgow disorder and racist assaults after Belfast knife attack. Fucking great. 3 men have been arrested and charged following disorder and racist assaults in Glasgow after a knife attack in Belfast on Monday. Police Scotland said 5 people were injured, including 2 officers, after hundreds of people wearing masks marched through the city centre on Tuesday evening. Yeah. Right, so I read most of this bit in the other story, so I think I can skip this bit here. Right, here we go. Police Scotland said 3 members of the public were injured during the disorder in Glasgow. Rejoice, comrades. Niall, 1797, in chat. Hello, Niall. Officers diverted the crowd carrying banners and Union flags. Please remember it's only called the Union Jack when it's on a jack staff on a ship. Sorry, very tedious. Carrying banners and Union flags away from the city centre. A number of streets and bridges were closed. Holy fuck. There is 4. One of which, give me a minute. Technically, there's a bridge. If you just go straight in here, like straight through St Enoch Square, that is a footbridge. That is for people. There is a bridge to the west of there and to the east of there. Those are 2 major bridges. One of them is the Kingston Bridge, which is the busiest bridge in Glasgow. Delightful. Where are we? There we were. 3 men, 2 aged 18 and 1 aged 31, were arrested and charged in connection with various offences. Officers also attended a number of smaller but peaceful demonstrations in Edinburgh, Falkirk, Perth, Ayr and Paisley, and no arrests were made. I wonder what happened in Perth. I all need to get on the blower to my family. Assistant Chief Constable Waddell said officers responded to disorder and violence, including incidents in Glasgow where members of the public were attacked because of the colour of their skin. Officers were also attacked. I would strongly condemn that offending and sending a clear message that there is no place for racism and violence in Scotland. Javed Iqbal said staff at the St Enoch corner shop closed the doors early after advice from police. So that corner shop is across the road and along a bit. He said staff had told him about masked men banging on the windows outside shortly before they brought the shutters down at about 10:30. Okay. He said it was safety first. The main thing is safety for my staff and for the shop. The staff felt a little bit scared with that many people being outside. He added we should all be able to live together, forget about the colour, forget about the race. Well said, Javed. St Enoch Centre said its security team responded to a number of individuals who entered the shopping centre. That's okay. An embarrassment to Glasgow. First Minister John Swinney condemned the disorder as unacceptable. It's a bit tame. He said Scotland is a welcoming nation and those who choose to make their lives here are valued members of our communities. Well said. I follow them quite close in their own state. That section of the road, so the buses which go down to the bottom end where the St Enoch Centre is, that is still closed off. So travel in the bottom half of the city centre plus the top of Cathedral Street is still getting fixed. but the bottom end of the city centre is completely closed off. They're still making sure it is safe and sound. That section is going to be closed for a while. And oh, you, you can try. Yes. So, well, Hitler actually said it roughly this far away from him taking over, essentially. You have to remember the next general election has to be held within 3 years. Mind you, in saying that, it was 18 months that he said it before he basically took over. So he might start changing his language next year. Correct, Reza, yeah. Don't worry, keeping an eye. Oh, hydrate. Thank you, my dear. What are you doing? It's your birthday today. I'll get you tail. Thank you, my dear, for the hydrate. So they're still trying to, they're still making it all safe, essentially. But the actual plan to get it rebuilt and stuff like that, mm, mm, 3, 4, 5. How long's a piece of string? Your guess is as good as mine. Don't worry, I'll be keeping an eye on what happens with it anyway. But it's that so pedestrians can get down that street again. Traffic can't. Mind you, that section is a bus gate. Only buses and taxis can go down it. So the quick explanation here. Glasgow City Centre is a one-way system. So it's all no. But because of that, at the bottom end of the city centre, the diversions to get the buses to miss that section are fucking mental. Mm. So they're having to go to get back onto the routes. Whether you're going north from the bottom end of the city centre or coming south going into the city centre. And getting it from both ends. So the main road that the buses that I get to go into the city centre, one of the main roads that passes my university, closed. The street collapsed because of really old fucking plumbing. A pipe broke and the pavement and the actual road collapsed. They're trying to get that fixed as quickly as fucking possible because it's the main road north out of Glasgow. So north and east. The coaches that leave Buchanan bus station are not best pleased. Let's just put it like that. So they're having to go round and out that way. Having to contend with other traffic like extra buses and just standard drivers. It is a fucking mess in the city centre right now. Let me know. We can maybe meet up for a coffee if you wish. Thank you for dropping by. Stay hydrated. Self-care is good care. Take your meds if you need to take any. Stay based. Free Palestine and tell these fascist idiots to fuck off. And again, please no violence, just tell them to go away. Be gone. Right, I'll start this back again. First Minister John Swinney condemned the disorder as unacceptable. I'll say again, a bit tame. He said Scotland is a welcoming nation and those who choose to make their lives here are valued members of our communities. I agree. No one should be made to feel scared in a place they call home, and the actions of those involved do not reflect Scotland's values. That's just down the road from me. Technically one of the most deprived bits, that. Oh, well, don't worry. Yeah, I know exactly where Hamilton Hill is. Shit. 21? 22? It's either G21 or 22. But I know it exists, it's just walking distance from me. I will not get too specific because I'm not going to dox myself. Swinney also thanked Police Scotland for their efforts to ensure people's safety. Scotland's Justice Secretary, Neil Gray, praised the force for its response and said specialist public order officers were on standby for any further disruption. Cool. Scottish Green MSP and Queen Iris Dwayne said the demonstration was an example of opportunistic racism, adding groups were preying on the fears of communities. Well said, my dear. Glasgow Labour MSP, and one of my list MSPs, Paul Swinney, described the incidents as brazen racist thuggery, of a mouthful, calling those involved an embarrassment to the people of Glasgow. Oh my god. See, look, the Tesco I was talking about. Scottish Labour leader Anna Sarwar. Hi, Alex. Said he had to phone Glasgow Central Mosque on Tuesday and urge them to shut their doors for safety. They invited people in. The main mosque, the Central Mosque for Glasgow, is about 10 minutes walk from this bit. Sauer condemned the violence and told BBC Scotland there was a place for protest but not disorder, violence and racism. They weren't protesting. Nervous about August? Yeah, it's infuriating, isn't it, Niall? He also said comments from Reform UK MSP Thomas Kerr were deeply irresponsible. Understatement. Kerr said, I utterly condemn any forms of racism or violence. But he called for people to go out and protest. They weren't doing that, Thomas. Peacefully against uncontrolled illegal migration on Wednesday. Shut the fuck up. Scottish Conservative leader Russell Finlay said criminal behaviour must be met with the full force of the law. He added, everyone has the right to protest, but there can be no excuse for violence and intimidation on Scotland's streets. Widespread violence took place in Belfast on Tuesday evening. Houses, cars and a bus were set on fire and all public transport was suspended in the city. Fucking hell. PSNI said it had requested mutual aid from other forces across the UK. Police Scotland said it would support arrangements which could see its officers deployed if necessary. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hmm. I did say in my stream title that the World Cup might get mentioned. Feel free to switch off for about 5 or 10 minutes. This is fucking ridiculous. A Scotland football fan has told how he found out an hour before flying to the World Cup finals in the US that his travel permit had been revoked. Christ almighty. Michael Wright had been due to head off to the States for a dream 30th birthday trip with his brother and had tickets for Scotland's group stage games against Haiti and Morocco, but ended up having to send his brother through the security gates at Manchester Airport on his own when his visa status switched from approved to pending and finally to travel not authorised. Michael, who is from Greenock but now lives in Australia, said, "I don't think I've ever felt that bad." Fucking hell. He added, "I sent my brother through security because I still wanted him to go and enjoy his holiday, and I didn't want him to see me ready to break down." Oh, dude. He told BBC Scotland News he could think of no valid reason for the change in his visa status, and the US authorities had not given him one. That's the most galling part. They are not even saying why they're cancelling the visas. Oh, for fuck's sake. UK citizens who want to go to the United States for up to 90 days without a visa need to apply for the country's ESTA, fuck it. But dozens of fans who filled out the form have said on social media that their application status had changed in the days leading up to the World Cup kicking off today, essentially. Some supporters have now been told to make last-minute trips to the US consulate in Belfast to secure approval of their visas. First Minister John Swinney said he had contacted US officials over the issue and would do all I can to help those affected. He said, "I have asked officials to convey our hope that they can resolve this so that Scotland's fans do not miss out." Michael, who emigrated to Australia 9 years ago, applied for his ESTA in March. Fucking hell. He travelled home to Greenock to spend 2 weeks with his family before preparing to head off to the US with no concerns about his visa status. In my eyes, there's no valid reason for them to decline it. I live in what most people would say is the second hardest country in the world to get a visa. I've been living there nearly 10 years, reapplying for visas and completing police checks. They granted it originally, so I'm not sure why they've decided to look back into it. Good point. A spokesperson for Homeland Security told the BBC that the tightening of granting ESTAs was because the Trump administration is enforcing immigration laws. They are coming over to watch football matches. That is all. Then they're fucking off again. Yeah. hmm Under the visa waiver program, all ESTA applications are continuously vetted against law enforcement and security databases. Travellers must provide complete and truthful information, including all criminal history. Okay, I'll just point out that the one who lives in Australia, if there was any sort of uh, criminality in his past, he wouldn't have got in, let alone been able to live there. Michael Wright said the late U-turn had left him feeling very raw, as well as thousands of pounds out of pocket. He said, "You're talking about 4.5 to 5 grand, and the only thing I'm ever going to get back on is the match tickets. But at this point, I don't even want to take the money back on them. I'll probably just give them away." However, he still insists on taking the positives from his World Cup experience. "I made the trip home and spent about 2.5 weeks back in Scotland with all the family who I obviously don't get to see every day. Now I'll just go back to Australia and watch the games with my mates." A spokesperson for the UK's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, the fucking Foreign Office, said the US government sets ESTA and visa requirements. "We encourage applicants to follow instructions set out by the US Embassy." Fucking, you can't even give any words of encouragement to the fucking people of this country. Vic Cooper, you suck. "We continue to engage closely with the US Embassy regarding entry requirements for British nationals travelling to the World Cup." What is an ESTA? In order to travel to America, applicants must complete a form, pay a fee, and receive approval before travel. An approved ESTA is usually valid for 2 years and allows multiple short visits. UK citizens with certain criminal convictions or immigration issues are usually not eligible. In December, the White House said it wanted to make social media checks part of the process of applying for the permissions. Anyone who does not qualify for an ESTA has to apply for a US visa instead. This can be a lengthy process. Scotland kicks off its World Cup campaign on the 13th of June. BBC Scotland News has approached the US Embassy in London and US Customs and Border Protection for comment. What, you expected them to say anything to you? Scotland football fans say they are devastated as last-minute changes to travel permits could prevent them from travelling to the World Cup. UK citizens who want to go to the United States for up to 90 days without a visa need to apply for the country's ESTA. But dozens of fans who filled out the form have said on social media that their application status has changed this week from approved to travel not authorised. It sucks. Some have told BBC Scotland they could lose out on thousands of pounds in travel costs due to the changes, with Scotland's first World Cup game kicking off in less than 2 weeks. This is an older story. Picture above. Scott Braid, 43, from Kirkcaldy, was due to fly out to Boston on the 12th, technically today, with his wife and 2 children. He applied for his ESTA, and once it was approved, he thought he was good to go and booked the once-in-a-lifetime trip. He told BBC Scotland, out of the blue, on Tuesday, I got an email that said there'd been an update on your ESTA status. He said it had moved from approved to pending, and 2 hours later it changed to travel not authorised. Scott said he's especially frustrated given that he had previous ESTA that expired in 2024 and he travelled to America in 2023 with no issues. Since I've done that ESTA, there's been absolutely no changes to my circumstances, he said. That's a frustrating thing, not knowing why this happened. Scott said he is encouraging his family to go ahead with the trip in the hope he'll be able to join them partway through after securing a visa appointment in Belfast next week. Fucking hell. The same thing happened to brothers Andrew and Nelson Spears, also from Kirkcaldy. Nelson said they applied for their ESTA on the 14th of December and they were approved the next day. The form stayed that way until 3rd of June when it was updated to say they were not allowed to travel. It's not given us very much time to do anything about it, he told BBC Scotland. I don't think it's fair. They shouldn't authorise somebody to go, then take it back. We didn't book anything until we were authorised. He had planned to travel to Miami as part of a trip for Andrew's 40th at a total cost of 10 grand. He said the news had left him heartbroken. Christ, I'd be raging. The brothers showed BBC Scotland screenshots, seen above, from the ESTA website showing their applications were approved but have now been updated. They have managed to get an appointment at the US consulate in Belfast yesterday, essentially. Oh, this map again. I'm going to be seeing this map a lot, I think. Acting Assistant Secretary of Homeland Security, Lauren Biz, said the tightening of granting ESTAs was because the Trump administration is enforcing. Right, yeah, fine, fair enough. Under the visa waiver program, all ESTA applications are continuously vetted, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. This added that failure to disclose arrests or convictions constitutes misrepresentation. What the fucking... Failure to disclose arrests? How the fuck are they meant to disclose arrests? Oh, it fucking hurts. Right, fair enough, convictions. Constitutes misrepresentation. What the could lead to the ESTA denial, revocation, or permanent bar from entering the US. She said that an approved ESTA does not guarantee admission. Individuals ineligible for the visa waiver program due to criminal convictions or misrepresentation must apply for a visa. CBP is unable to speculate on other travellers as CBP does not track who is travelling for FIFA. Fucking right. Oh, for fuck's sake.
We were met with at the car park behind St Enoch's Centre, a few individuals running for safety by the looks of it, and then they were followed by 200 to 300 protesters wearing balaclavas, face masks, almost all in black and dark blue. And then behind that group, there was a huge police presence.
There's no way in Edinburgh. Right.
From August 2010 until October 2022, he used party funds for a variety of unauthorised purposes. The total sum of money which he misused and thereby embezzled was £400,310.65. The source of those funds was the party's principal bank account over which the accused had control. In his role as CEO, the accused was able to make direct transfers of money from that bank account. He also had a charge card linked to that account in his name for use in paying for items required by the party, as did other members of staff. The accused made direct transfers of money and used his party charge card and those of two other staff members to make purchases which were not connected to party business. There were a significant number of purchases of kitchenware and food and beverage related items, items for gardening, watches, clothing, and leisure goods such as books, DVDs, and video games and consoles. The earliest purchases which form part of the embezzlement were made with the online retailer Amazon. Over the course of more than 12 years, the accused made 383 such purchases from Amazon using party charge cards.
Oh, whoops. Hang on, I'll check what phone this is. Oh. Right. Oh, yeah, I'll do. That's all right. Oh, God, crickets. Johnny no take that. Funny. There we go. Let us see this. Oh God, hang on. Whoops.
Belfast last night, scenes reminiscent of the Troubles. The violence broke out in the aftermath of the stabbing attack on 44-year-old Stephen Ogilvie, who lost an eye. A Sudanese national has been charged with attempted murder. At the same time, around 250 people marched through Glasgow, many of them men in masks, targeting...
Right. Hotel. McSorley's is a really good pub. I've been in it on many an occasion. That's a Wetherspoons.
150 people marched through Glasgow, many of them men in masks targeting non-white people. That led to 3 arrests, with police officers and members of the public injured. Javed's shop is next to where the trouble broke out.
My staff phoned me about 10:30 that something is going on outside. They've seen.
Oh, I described the wrong one. So it's the one at the bottom end of St Enoch Square. So that street that you saw running past that corner shop is a bus gate, which is closed, because there's nowhere for you to turn onto the main route for the buses. I will say again, it's a fucking mess down there. Fuck. Oh, it's that one, right. So there's a pub just up from this. I map things in pubs because I'm a rampant alcoholic, apparently. So just up from there, there's a pub called Times Square. Really good steak pie. And the Tesco is right opposite where his shop is, so the other side of the square.
Seen too many people with black clothes, masks and everything while they was walking, so some of them banging the glass, so they, for the safety reason, they have just put it down the shutters. Everybody's worrying about it. Hopefully it's not got any bigger trouble.
Police lined the streets last night in an attempt to keep order.
During this disorder, we believe members of the public were attacked.
About it. Hopefully it's not got any bigger trouble.
Police lined the streets.
Rejoice, comrades. This is Buchanan Street. It is so all the way down Buchanan Street is mostly shops, with a couple of exceptions, like a couple of restaurants, but the rest are all shops. From the top end of the city centre, where you've got Buchanan Galleries, all the way down at the bottom, where you've got the St Enoch Centre. It's just a whole street shops of varying price levels. Fucking frame drops.
Streets last night in an attempt to keep order.
During this disorder, we believe members of the public were attacked because of the colour of their skin, and officers were also attacked. I strongly condemn that offending and send a clear message that there is no place for racism and violence in Scotland.
There are a lot of questions about the events here last night, namely, why did it happen, what's the impact of it going to be, and what's going to be done about it. Today, officers and colleagues from immigration enforcement were in St Enoch Square, where some were feeling uneasy about the atmosphere.
It is very frightening. It is very, very frightening, because Glasgow is seen to be one of the peaceful cities, and this thing now happening is very traumatizing.
I have never felt that frightened, to be honest, in my 26 years here in Scotland. But, lately what I have been seeing is really, really terrifying, not only for me, but for everyone who is not, indigenous Scot, or who's not, of a different colour.
Why, as a mother, should I have to ask my girls to stay home because of some incident that's happened in Belfast? And that's how it's impacting families and communities just now. Communities where Muslims, Hindus, people of colour are living.
There were demonstrations too in Edinburgh, Ayr, Falkirk, Paisley and Perth. This was the capital, although none of these led to arrests.
This is all being inspired by some of the hateful rhetoric that is being spread by the far right. So I can only deduce that there is a connection between these individuals who are perpetrating these acts of violence and the far-right politics which have no place in Scotland.
Those people who have done it have let down those like myself and others who have been claiming about the issues of mass illegal migration is creating in our country, because when you resort to violence, when you resort to racism, what you do is you give John Swinney.
So that was Butte House that you saw Swinney in, which is basically the Scottish version of Number 10. That's Holyrood. That is Thomas Kerr. He is a wank.
A win because he wants to turn this argument into one against people like me rather than arguing the actual issue of mass migration.
With Belfast braced for more trouble, many here will be hoping for a quieter night in Scotland, but the fear remains about what lies ahead. Gordon Cree, STV News, Glasgow.
How am I doing? An hour and a half in? Look it up. Oh, boy meets Minnie. Yeah, I saw that. Ah! Alex. Sorry, Chris. Didn't mean to click on you. Where did we? Scottish Parliament.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. That concludes general questions for today. The next item of business is First Minister's questions for party leaders. The first question will be asked by Anna Sarwar.
You caught me off guard there. Sorry, Presiding Officer, but I started 30 seconds early, so I apologise. Can I start by wishing the Scotland team and the Tartan Army the best of luck as the World Cup kicks off later today?
Those of the Tartan Army that have managed to make it into the States, I'll hasten to add. Frame drops. Motherfucker. Carry on, Anna. Fuck it.
I'm sure the one thing that unites us all in this chamber is our support for Steve Clarke and the Scotland team. And, Presiding Officer, speaking of unity, I, like many, was horrified and angered by the knife attack in Belfast. Justice must be done and lessons must be learnt. But there is never any justification for that to turn into violence, racism and disorder on our streets. Those being intimidated on our streets or in our places of worship whether that be a mosque, a synagogue or any other faith centre, must hear loudly and clearly from us all that this is not who we are, those who seek to divide us do not speak for us, and that Scotland belongs to us all. And, Presiding Officer, when we have a rising challenge of disillusionment and mistrust of our politics and our institutions, does the First Minister agree that rebuilding and restoring that trust is a responsibility on all of us who want to see the politics of hatred defeated?
First Minister.
So let me begin first of all on the question of the World Cup, and I associate myself directly with the comments that Mr Sarwar has made. I look forward enormously later on after question time to travelling to Boston to support Scotland in Boston on Saturday evening, and I extend my warmest wishes to Steve Clarke, to Andy Robertson and to the whole of the Scotland men's team who have done Scotland proud in getting to the World Cup, and we look forward enormously to their success. To contribute to the occasion, I decided to wear my No Scotland, No Party tie to First Minister's question time today, so hopefully that will bring some good cheer to the team at the weekend. On the serious issue that Mr Sarwar raises about disorder, I agree 100% with what he said. There is a rising tide of the spread of hateful rhetoric in our society, and it is inciting people to behave in a reckless and aggressive and thuggish fashion in our society. This is a peaceful country. Scotland is a welcoming country, and I will exercise the leadership, as I know Mr Sarwar will do, to make sure that Scotland always remains a tolerant, welcoming and inclusive country.
Question 2, Anas Sarwar.
I thank the First Minister for that response and wish him well on his travels, and wish even more that Scotland gets the results it needs at the World Cup. On the issue of trust, last night the SNP voted down an inquiry into the lessons and implications of Operation Branch Farm and the conviction of Peter Murrow. The reason given was that the SNP believed that this was an attempt by political rivals to investigate the inner workings of another political party. As I made clear yesterday, that is not my intention. The crimes of Peter Murrow are for Peter Murrow, but there are issues raised that go beyond the internal workings of the SNP. There are legitimate questions for Police Scotland, the Crown Office, the Lord Advocate, the Electoral Commission, HMRC and others like the Scottish Legal Aid Board on why a wealthy man who owns property abroad and says he has the means to immediately pay back £400,000 had access to legal aid. Scots demand answers to these valid questions. So John Swinney says he wants to avoid an inquiry into the inner...
It depends on the severity of the crime that you've been charged and are getting prosecuted on, that you're able to claim legal aid. And if that is, if he was able to claim legal aid, fair enough. It's why it was set up like that. So if you are charged with a serious offence and cannot provide for your own defence, you can apply for this and you get it. It's mostly major crimes that you get it for. And embezzlement is a major crime. So don't change how legal aid works, thanks. Because if you change it in one instance, you'll be changing it for everyone that comes after it. Leave it be. You can apply for legal aid, whether you get it or not is something completely different. Okay? That's what Anas forgets to mention here, I think. Naughty Anas, yeah, you never gave the full context there, did you?
Workings of the SNP. I agree. So will he work cross-party to agree the terms of reference, the scope and remit of any parliamentary inquiry before supporting any such inquiry?
First Minister.
Sir, if that was an attempt by Mr Sarwar to put some order and clarity into his position, it was absolutely necessary. Because anyone listening to the incoherent gibberish that Jackie Baillie came out with on the radio this morning in trying to defend the Labour position knows that Labour has just been trying to score grubby political points over this whole issue for weeks, and they should be ashamed of themselves. We've gone through a process where my party is the victim of an embezzlement, and that is a criminal case that has been researched by Police Scotland, put in front of the Crown, and a successful prosecution obtained. That is what has happened in this particular case. I do not believe there is a case for an independent inquiry or a parliamentary inquiry into that issue, because that has been done by the police, and no organisation can do the issue or take that issue forward in a more sophisticated way than a police investigation, and Mr Sarwar should leave it at that.
Anna.
The level of the investigation that Police Scotland done is the highest. So everything that the ones that he mentioned, they're all lower, including the one where they're trying to get it to be the Scottish Affairs Select Committee. It has already been investigated. Someone has been successfully prosecuted. They will be getting sentenced. They've already done this. And that's what the rest of these bastards don't fucking realise. Or they do, and they just don't give a fuck. Make your choices, everyone. I know where your minds is. Christ's sake. I wonder what Jackie said on the radio this morning. Fucking hell. It's already been investigated, Anna. Shut the fuck up.
Sarwar.
Presiding Officer, I'm not asking us to get into the inner workings of the police relating to the investigation of Operation Branchform. I'm talking about the institutions in this country and the legitimate questions. Now, following on from the letter from the government this morning, I have written to the Electoral Commission saying that we will support...
So, you think that the police done a shoddy or substandard investigation? You can't have it both ways. It has already been investigated. Can I close it? Don't think so. Oh, fucking frame drops. I do apologise. I don't know why they're happening more often now. Unless my laptop is overheating. Give me a moment. Holy fuck. I'm sorry if anyone's wearing in-ear or headphones. Fair warning, I'm going to have to put my fan up to see if that helps with the frame drops. I do apologise. Sorry. There we go.
and engage in any review into party finances. But this is about Operation Branchform and the lessons and implications from it. This was an investigation into the governing party of Scotland. It would further undermine public trust and confidence and our democracy if the governing party now blocks any attempt to look at the lessons and implications of that investigation and subsequent convictions. Rebuilding trust is on all of us. So that's why, Presiding Officer, I have today written to all political parties, asking them to meet and start the work of agreeing a terms of reference and a scope of any potential inquiry. This should be a process that the SNP and the Greens are willing to engage with in good faith. Governance of the SNP is for John Swinney and the SNP, but scrutiny of government and our institutions is for Parliament and for parliamentarians. In fact, that is our duty. So can I ask...
Rejoice, comrades. I never realised it was Layla Spellwind in chat. This is FMQs, my dear. Look. It is an Enos. And there's a corner of Jackie Bailey.
Ask John Swinney, is he prepared to confront a culture of secrecy and cover-up and put country before party by agreeing the terms of a meaningful inquiry?
First Minister.
What does Mr Sarwar think we're engaged in just now? This is scrutiny. I'm here to answer questions twice a week in front of Parliament, as are all of my ministers on a regular basis, to have government under scrutiny. Mr Sarwar keeps on saying he doesn't want an internal investigation into the SNP. That's exactly what he's just made the case for, and that was a case that failed in Parliament yesterday. Mr Sarwar is going to have to accept the democratic outcomes that take their course. The first one he's going to have to accept is that Parliament rejected the arguments that Mr Sarwar is putting forward yesterday.
First Minister, if you're asking a question, do the courtesy of the First Minister in the Chamber of letting him answer the question that you yourself have asked. Thank you. First Minister.
Presiding Officer, Mr Sarwar is setting out an argument which is about examining a case which Parliament rejected yesterday democratically. That was what Parliament decided. And the other democratic outcome that Mr Sarwar is going to have to come to terms with is the outcome of the election. When all of these issues that were put about by Mr Sarwar, he would come to Parliament week after week and issue all of the comments, smearing his opponents, smearing me, smearing my government, smearing the SNP, and the people decided to send fewer Labour MSPs to this Parliament as a consequence of the election. So I would simply say to Mr Sarwar, it's time he acknowledged the failure of his strategy to hold this government to account, and he should come up with a better strategy than the one he's pursuing.
Malcolm Offord.
Oh, fuck.
Let me start by adding my best wishes and sending our best of luck to the Scotland team in America. Let's hope they get to the last 16 for the first time since 1974. So in PMQs, Reform Scotland will continue to focus on the issues that
I actually agree with him. I'll come there. Holy fuck. But it's only where the football's concerned. Yes, it was before I was even born that we got into last 16. Holy fuck. Your last was born in 79, so 5 years before that was the last time we got into the last 16. Bollocks. I do have faith in this team. It's actually one of the better teams that we've had in recent years. Top right.
Malcolm Offord.
let me start by adding my best wishes and sending our best of luck to the Scotland team in America. Let's hope they get to the last 16 for the first time since 1974. So in PMQs, Reform Scotland will continue to focus on the issues that matter most to voters in Scotland, which are the energy costs are too high, taxes are too high and immigration is too high.
Okay. Income tax is devolved. I'll give you that one. You can talk about that. The other two are fucking reserved. How many times do we have to fucking tell you that, Malcolm? The vast majority of energy policy is not devolved. And immigration in any way, shape or form is never going to be devolved as far as I can tell.
Therefore, at this, my third FMQs, I wish to focus on immigration.
Not devolved. Not devolved. How many fucking times?
I would remind you that immigration is a reserved matter and not under the remit of the First Minister.
There is a specific Scottish matter I want to raise in relation to immigration, which is going to explain now. So thousands of the immigrants who arrive illegally in the UK when granted leave to remain there then come specifically to Scotland, presenting as homeless.
They get put here by Westminster. Invalid question. Shut the fuck up. Let's hear what Daphnis Malcolm has to ask. And please, John, don't fucking give it any credence. Give a funny little answer to this idiot. If they've been given indefinite leave to remain, they'll have recourse to public money and they can apply for a house. If they can afford it, they can get a private let if they wish. But they usually apply for either social or council housing. And again, reserved matter until they get indefinite leave to remain.
Because local authorities here have less discretion than in England about how they allocate accommodation. Now, as a result, councils across Scotland are being forced to indefinitely pause the allocation of permanent accommodation to local Scots who have been on social housing waiting lists, in some cases for years, in order to provide temporary accommodation to the new arrivals instead. So my question to the First Minister is, will he now restore to Scottish local authorities their powers to put local Scots first?
First Minister.
It goes on need. We had a private let before we got this place. I went and viewed different places that Glasgow Housing Association offered us. I went because Super Hubby was still working for Royal Mail at this point. And it wasn't until we got offered this place as a viewing and we snapped it up. Or yoink. They offered us 2 other places before they offered us this one. And the only reason we got offered places is because we were a new couple and they see a heterosexual couple thinking, oh dear, possibility, might get pregnant. No. So that went on need. They wanted to get us a house soon, or a flat. And we got this place. It goes on the need of the person applying. Like, I've applied to get another flat, to get a different flat within the same housing association. But because we're comfortable here and they have now fixed the place, the damp, the mould has been dealt with, next on my hit list, the floorboards. They're old as balls, and I feel dodgy walking on them. But other than that, this place is relatively comfortable now. Thank God. Got a new washing machine. Got delivered on Wednesday. Now we just need sunny weather. Apparently it's going to be sunny on Sunday. I can get a wash done. It goes on Need Malcolm. Check out how it gets allocated from each of the 32 councils if you wish. Or get one of your little minions who are sitting next to you to do that research for you if you're too busy.
President, I think Mr Offord is under a misconception about the local connection rules, because the local connection rules that were changed by this government in 2022 did not change local connection rules for refugee households. The local connection rules in relation to refugee households have been in place for, I would think, in excess of 20 years in the current context. So Mr Offord is just fundamentally wrong in the point that he puts to me. But there is a deeper point that is exposed by the question that Mr Offord puts to me. And that is that Mr Offord is trying to pursue an issue on immigration at the same time as his party is associated with the stirring up of hatred within our society. And I just want to call it out for what it is, because during the election campaign I made it abundantly clear I would not cooperate with reform in this Parliament because of the way in which they pursue this issue, which incites racial hatred in our society. I'm glad I took that stance in the election, and I'm determined to sustain it during this Parliament.
Malcolm Offord. We only take points of order on FMQs at the end of First Minister's questions.
Alex.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. So, the First Minister has not answered my question, and instead he's thrown false accusations at my party. Let me address direct the terrible riots we've seen in Belfast. First to condemn the brutal and unprovoked attack on Stephen Ogilvie. Second, to echo his family in saying that violent protest is not the answer.
He said, do not capitalise on the maiming, the injuries that Stephen Ogilvie got as well. Care to add that, Malcolm? Please. None of them give full context. Isn't that surprising?
Whatever is the problem, violence is not the answer. But that is not to ignore the problem. The reality is there's a very real problem with immigration, which was created by the Tories and now exacerbated by Labour.
Reserved fucking issue. I feel like I want to yeet this bottle at the wall. Nearly. Go on. Oh, bollocks. Yep, the frame drops are still happening. That's... Okay. It's still overheating. Oh my god, I've got it up full. Crud.
Politicians have created this unrest in our society, And if we the politicians don't fix it democratically, other less savoury actors will fill that vacuum.
What, you mean man frog? Sorry, I couldn't resist that one.
So, in Scotland, will the First Minister now take immediate action to restore the priority need for local Scots for scarce housing resources, to give priority to local Scots ahead of strangers?
First Minister.
Yeah, Miss Howe.
I'd simply point out to Malcolm Offord in relation to his question that the problem that was created by the Conservatives, in his words, was by a Conservative party of which he was a member and a serving government minister.
Did you forget you were a Tory peer, Malcolm? You must have forgotten that. Well said, John. Well said.
It stretches incredulity for Mr Offord to come here and present himself as some form of a solution to a problem that he allegedly, in his own words, created in the first place. Now, I want to explore some of the comments that Mr Offord has said to me about the issues around about protest, because I fear that the issues around less savoury characters are not too far from home. On Tuesday, there was disorder in the streets of Scotland, and particularly in the city of Glasgow, which I unreservedly condemn, and I condemned it yesterday. At the same time as I was condemning it, Thomas Kerr, sitting beside Mr Offord, was saying to people that it was important that people went out and protested last night. At the same time, I was making it abundantly clear that nobody in the current context, although they've got democratic rights, nobody should be out protesting last night, given the climate that we're in. That was my advice for people not to protest. Mr Kerr said people should get out and protest. And what happened last night? Well, in Greenock, a town very close to Mr Offord's heart, I know that. Police officers were attacked. 2 officers sustained minor injuries and damage was caused to police vehicles as the police were simply doing their duty of protecting the citizens of our country, and Mr Offord should condemn his colleague Thomas Kerr right now.
Malcolm Offord. Let Mr Offord speak.
Presiding Officer, let me say once again, unequivocally, that we condemn violence. Violence is not the way to protest, but protest is a valid mechanism to make one's views heard in frustration. Thomas Kerr was very, very clear yesterday in the interviews he gave that there was no line to cross into violence, but a right to protest remains valid. And Thomas Kerr says this as a local Glaswegian, and we know, for example, the FOI in the Times recently showed that Glasgow has become home to 20 refugees per week in the last year, with the vast majority being fighting-age men from undisclosed,
Scary fighting-age men! Fucking dog whistle. And scary brown men at that. Woo. I hate this kind of rhetoric. I fucking despise it. Oh my god. Please tell me it worked. Oh, you bastard. Damn. I've dropped the quality down to 360p. And I'm still getting the goddamn frame drops. Right, let's... I know, I moved it down to the 360 there as well. Okay. Whoops. Oh, what the? Oh! Okay, Corcrack. I heard noises. Give me a second. What noise did I hear? Oh, thank you, Corcrack. I've dropped it down to 240. Let's see if that works.
with undisclosed...
Excuse me, let him finish.
Presiding officer. With undisclosed nationality. And that is unsustainable. We all agree that sensibly. But it's sadly not surprising because it was the First Minister who was wearing a T-shirt saying, "I welcome refugees," while advocating open borders. First Minister, we can't have this.
Fucking... we don't have open borders. Fucking... oh, god damn it. I don't... these frame drops. End stream, yes or no? Post your answers in chat, everyone. Because there is no point if it's so laggy that you're not having a good time or learning anything. I don't know why this is happening. I was hoping to go for at least 3 hours tonight. Apparently these frame drops are not going to fucking like me. You know what, I'll just end it, I'll read out, because Raptors just started. It's the French one, actually. Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry, YouTube comrades, they can't read you out anywhere. But, for my lovely Twitch comrades, Let's go and say hi to Raptor, shall we? I'll see if I can get these frame drops under control. I'll need to ask my Welsh techie comrade to help. I never used to have frame drops this fucking bad. Maybe I had one or two a stream, not like 3 or 4 every 10 minutes. I don't get what's happening. I'll see if it's something to do with my Streamlab. I'll get this sorted for tomorrow night. Oh no, I won't be streaming on tomorrow night. I'm taking tomorrow night off. I really am quite sorry, everyone. So infuriating. Not to 4 again, for fuck's sake. I really am. Let's go and say hi to Raptor, shall we? Christ's sake. So there's 3 common denominators here. Twitch, YouTube, and my Streamlab. I will get back to you. I will be back on Saturday night. 10ish. 10 PM. So I'll have the rest of tonight and all of Friday. And most of Saturday actually as well. To get this fixed. Watch this space. Hopefully I'll get these frame drops under control. Yeah. Thanks, Corcrag. Oh. Ah. Come on. Give me. Raptor. Give me a Raptor. Oh,